For this supermarket tour, I will be exploring the Metro on 89 Gould Street with the help of the supermarket tour book by Oprah. The reason why I chose Metro in particular is the fact that it is close to Ryerson University, therefore it is very accessible to students, teachers, and many more people. Also, Metro is a Canadian food retailer, therefore most of its foods are said to be from Canadian farms and resources. Metro is the third largest grocer in Canada after Loblaws and Sobeys and has 134 different locations in just Ontario. The aisles I chose to investigate today were aisles 1, going to the market, and aisles 2, the produce, and a little bit of aisle 4, some of the dry goods as stated by Oprah. So immediately upon my entry, outside the entrance, I first see a bright red sign that says "We sell beer." Immediately, I know that they are trying to lure more consumers, especially us students, because this metro is located so close to Ryerson. Already, from the get-go, the supermarket is trying to put interest into our minds to spend more money on something that may have not initially been on our shopping list. As I enter, I see a bright red shopping basket. This may be a ploy by supermarkets to ensure that we buy more things. Also, as I continue to look here, I see bread that's cheap for $1.99. And then as I look here, we see a student discount for us Ryerson students. So the Metro is trying to promote us to buy more things. As I continue down here, I see shopping carts finally. Oprah states that supermarkets use deep, wide shopping carts to give the illusion that using a whole cart for a few items is a waste, therefore encouraging us consumers to buy more items. This is also the case with that red shopping basket that we saw earlier. Also here at the entrance, we see the supermarket immediately try to continue to lure customers with these magazines with deals that they present. They provide 3 for $5 deals here, and we see the promotion of customer loyalty as stated in Oprah with free grocery ads for loyalty customers. As I proceed moving in, the first thing I see is the produce aisle. Before analyzing the food aisle, however, I try to listen for music, and all I hear is pop music, and it's more subtle than how these songs usually are. This is exactly as Oprah states, and how supermarkets choose pop songs but modify these songs by removing components of the song that may be distracting. So immediately as I walk through the produce aisle, I see a lot of the bright colors of the different types of produce the Metro possesses. So this is a very good example of product placement, as stated by Oprah. Things are placed at eye level as we see here, and all the nice colors are grouped together and are pleasant on the eyes. We can see the boutiquing technique occurring here as well, because we see salads and vegetables here, then immediately we see dressings. So this tells us to buy both because a good salad and veggies need good dressing. Now, as we see here, are the vegetables that are provided here at the Metro. They have different varieties of greens and carrots and other types of vegetables here. We can see that the price is all pretty good, and they're all products of Ontario. So Metro is sticking to its script of how most of their foods are within Canada. Therefore, we see that the food miles of the produce here at the Metro are a bit lower than other grocery stores, because these foods are mostly from Ontario, so therefore they're grown in Ontario farms, Canadian placed farms and whatnot. But here, as we look at the other parts of the produce, and here we see more vegetables like orange peppers and different types here, we see that they start to come from different places and not necessarily from Ontario, therefore increasing the food miles. When reading the supermarket tour book, I have to agree with what the produce section says regarding food miles, that most of the food we have travel so far, and we as consumers don't even know where they come from and how far they've traveled. However, the good thing here at Metro is the fact that most of its foods are based from Ontario, with the exception of a few fruits and vegetables that come from places like Mexico and other South American areas. We see bananas, and bananas are one of the most commonly eaten fruits here, and we see the different types. They all look the same, but they're actually from different places. For example, this one is organic and it's from Colombia, however, so this isn't from Ontario. This one's from Colombia as well again, but it's not an organic banana, it's just a premium banana. And this one's from Guatemala. So it makes me reflect on the workers that work on these bananas and fruits that we see here now, like apples, pears, etc., and how these workers are surrounded by harsh conditions and environments that are pesticide filled and chemical filled. These workers also have insufficient safety training and protection, as stated by OPERG. It really makes me reflect on the fact that the environment and the pesticides they work with can cause nausea, lung congestion, chest pain, dizziness, and at high exposure, respiratory paralysis and death, as stated by OPERG. It also really makes me reflect on the fact that these workers work so hard and in dangerous conditions just to provide us consumers with perfect yellow bananas and perfectly colored round fruits. And us consumers, we do not really think where our food comes from nor thank them. Therefore, it is an important thing and something that we need to enhance our education on regarding supermarkets, and something that we need to express more to the public. When it comes to my expectations before entering the supermarket and my aisle of study, um, my expectations regarding Metro in particular was the fact that these foods would be mostly um, organic and come from Canadian-based areas. And for that expectation, it came across as true. We see in Metro that they have a wide variety of organic foods, and most of their food do in fact come from Canadian-based areas. I do agree with the information presented about my chosen aisle, which is produce, from the text. The text talks about how pesticides are prevalent on all produce and different types of foods. And this is true because this is like any other supermarket. Although the foods may be organic, there are still some forms of pesticides, especially on the fruits and vegetables that are not organic. Metro does, however, provide the consumer the decision and choice on whether they want to buy organic foods and go with the healthy option or not. They provide a good variety of organic foods and give you the ability to choose what you want to do. After finishing exploring the produce aisle, however, I realized immediately that it leads directly to the bakery section and the dry goods area. The supermarket does a really good job on trying to stray you away from your original task list. Buying produce and vegetables may have been initially what you needed to do, but then it just leads you directly to the bakery and makes you want to indulge in unhealthy food and spend more money. When analyzing the floor, I noticed that the tiles in the produce area was yellow. However, as I proceeded to the dry goods, the tiles immediately shifted to white. So there was no really distinct path, but there was just a change in color. Finally, we are here at aisle 4, the dry goods area. We see an abundant and different varieties of cereal and dry foods. When checking the ingredients of these items, the biggest ingredient for all of them were corn and soy, just as Oberg stated. Another marketing strategy that is evident here by the supermarket is the fact that all these cereals are paired together based on their brands. Kellogg's are all bunched up together, and all the unhealthy cereals like Lucky Charms, Frosted Flakes were all bunched up together. All these expensive cereals were also evident to be at eye level and higher compared to the harder to reach healthier cereals that were placed in the bottom, as we see here. This experience has really challenged my existing ideas of food markets. I have learned that it is a dangerous and difficult job for people to provide the food that we see in the food market, especially non-organic produce that may be infested with pesticides. It has challenged my initial idea that all food is equal and the same, and that it doesn't matter where it came from or how far it has traveled. The fact that most produce has pesticides that is detrimental to our health is alarming, and something that we should educate many more people about. I also learned about the fact that the majority of dry foods are made up of corn and soy. I'm also now more aware of the various marketing ploys supermarkets use to get more money out of you, and have learned to always bring a list with me. Furthermore, I have learned that majority of the food I buy may have a lot of pesticides, and I've traveled a lot of food miles, therefore may not be as healthy as the organic Canadian-based foods that are offered here, for example here at the Metro. Overall, this shopping experience has taught me to think more critically when buying foods and doing my grocery shopping, and to think of how the food was prepared, who prepared them, and where this food has come from and traveled from, and simply just to not take food for granted. Thank you.